More from the Top Gear team now. For a mere £600,000, you too could burn some serious rubber. Test drive a mean, keen racing machine.
A gala ball at the stately Goodwood House is the sort of classic occasion that makes you feel like $1 million. So naturally, you do your best to look $1 million. And just to maintain the impression, you want to drive home in a car that befits the splendour of the occasion. Now, if you actually have $1 million to spare, you might just choose a McLaren F1.
At a price of £540,000 plus tax, you should also get some change for your million. And you'll get more than just a fabulous-looking car with an awesome engine in the back. The McLaren F1 is the dream concept of its designer, Gordon Murray.
Back in 1988, his Grand Prix McLaren was winning everything, but that was designed by his team of 30 engineers, and Murray is a man who derives most pleasure from completing a concept that is entirely his. He wanted out of the Grand Prix scene, and Ron Dennis gave him the green light to build his ideal road car.
It had to be usable, fast, safe, and above all, a real driver's car. It also needed to reflect the experience and technology of McLaren. Every little detail, right down to this engraved instrument insignia, had to satisfy Murray's precise specification. 30 years earlier, his college sketchbooks were filled with variations of a three-seater layout. To Murray, it was the only solution. The driver would sit in the optimum position, in the middle. Ahead of the fuel tank and ahead of the engine. A Formula One style layout and naturally a Formula One style construction that starts with this. It was only just over 10 years ago that McLaren built the first ever Grand Prix car with a carbon fibre monocoque. Lightweight and very strong, yet it starts life as no more than an expensive roll of cloth. Each car is a jigsaw of 5,000 pieces of resin-impregnated carbon fibre pressed around 70 different moulds in anything from 2 to 17 layers. Each mould is bagged up and held in a vacuum before being cooked for 3 hours in this huge oven under 90 psi pressure at 125 degrees centigrade to bond it together. The cured carbon fibre pieces are then stuck together, rather like building a giant Airfix model with full-sized parts, until you have a complete body shell ready for the paint shop. From paint shop to assembly shop. This is chassis number 001, McLaren's own car. 002 and 003 have already been delivered to their lucky owners. This is 005 and ahead of it 004. With an output of just 3 cars a month, this is as long as the assembly line gets. It takes 6,000 man-hours to complete a car which expresses engineering excellence, brilliant packaging, quality finish and a fanatical attention to detail. Gold is the best heat reflector, so the engine bay is lined with gold. Murray turned to BMW for his engine. The 6.1-litre non-turbo V12 produces 627 horsepower. Murray only asked for 550, so he wasn't too unhappy when the engine came out 16 kilos heavier than the 250 he'd specified.
Stress goes up.
Weight is one of Gordon Murray's obsessions. Saving it meant more expensive materials, magnesium wheels, aluminium alloy brake calipers, and an Inconel and titanium exhaust system, which is 67 kilos lighter than normal steel. Even the spanners in the special toolkit are made of titanium. The finished shape is the work of stylist Peter Stevens, who already had the Lotus Elan and Jaguar XJR 15 to his credit before he began working with Murray to clothe the F1 in a shape that not only looked good, but performed to the designer's requirements. So, have all Gordon Murray's dreams come true? Is this a usable supercar? Well, it's light and easy to drive, the visibility is superb,
The engine will dawdle along as slow as you want it to, and here in the middle there's a CD sound system all around you that's been honed to perfection. And there's even room to take the whole family shopping.
Parking is a doddle, and there's no problem with opening the doors.
I can go for an 18-hole lap of the Goodwood Park Golf Club.
And fit the clubs in the car using the tailored McLaren bag.
I've even got enough luggage space to pack up and head off for a weekend in the country.
In fact, the two pannier lockers give the McLaren the same storage volume as a Fiesta boot. And under the floor there are spare fuses, bulbs and a first aid kit. So this really is a supercar you could use every day. But I can't really see the owners doing the shopping. They'll have staff to do that, a helicopter for the golf course and a Learjet for the weekend away.
What the buyers of this McLaren F1 will want to do, and what you've all been waiting for me to do, is give it some stick. I think we better find a private circuit.
Of course, you'll have to hire a track like Goodwood, but that's only pocket money. It's here that Murray's real talent comes to the surface. He wanted instant steering response, and that means a low polar moment of inertia. So minimum overhangs front and rear, and the main masses, engine, fuel and occupants, as close to the centre of gravity as possible. The suspension must have the effect of a racing car, but the comfort of a road car. And the McLaren solution is something they call ground plane shear centre subframes at the front and inclined shear axes at the rear. All of which translates into some pretty impressive performance.
On this Goodwood racetrack, this McLaren is unbelievable. But perhaps the most impressive part is the engine. It just goes on accelerating and accelerating. And it's not just the 627 horsepower of the V12, but it's the massive torque of the motor. Whatever gear you're in, if you open the throttle, there's a massive power through this chicane in second. Open the power and whoa! Wheel spin in second, third, fourth. Just accelerate on and on and on. Braking, very impressive. That foil coming up at the rear to keep the car stable under braking. But it's opening this throttle, which you just cannot believe how quick this car goes. The handling is, well, it's an exceptional for a car with this power. But of course, good though the handling is, it's still a lively car. There's mild understeer as you turn in. But once you've got the power on, the only thing you're going to get is oversteer. It sounds so glorious behind you. Turn in, this long corner, a bit of oversteer. Up to third. A bit more oversteer. Whoa! On this straight now, I'm up to fifth. Up to sixth gear, and it's still accelerating harder and harder. I just read 160 there before I stamp on the brakes. Into Woodcote, third gear. And you just want to open the power. Down to second. Turn left back. This is sensational.
The F1 has been a long time coming, but it's been worth the wait. 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds and an unofficial 231 miles an hour should set the standard for years to come.
The McLaren F1 has everything you ever wanted in a supercar. Except perhaps, if you want to check a traffic report before you head home, then you're stuck. The F1 doesn't have a radio. Gordon Murray doesn't listen to the radio.